Bonjour à tous.
Hello, everyone.
Je souhaite donc la bienvenue.
I would like to welcome all the young people from the 13 regions who are in the room and those who have not been able to access the room.
Tous les jeunes venus d'Afrique.
To all the young people from Africa, to accompany the youth, welcome to the land of integral men.
J'irai rendre un hommage
I would like to pay a vibrant tribute to our strong security and defense forces
qui se battent jour et nuit pour que
who
le
fight day and night for Burkina Faso to be and remain beautiful.
Je souhaite que nous prenions une minute pour prier.
I would like us to take a minute to pray for those who are on the ground and also for the rest of the souls of those who have fallen for our country.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you.
Rendons grâce à Dieu qui a permis
Thank
que nous nous
you.
retrouvions
Let us give thanks to God for allowing us to be here today to celebrate the International Youth Day in good
en bonne
health.
santé. Je le dis très souvent parce que
I say this very often because human beings often forget God when they have no problem,
lorsqu'il est dans le bonheur.
when they are in
Quand il y a des
happiness.
soucis, c'est là qu'on se rappelle de Dieu.
But when worries come,
Rendez grâce tous les jours pour le
this is
souffle
when
de
we
vie,
remember
pour la
God.
santé.
give thanks every day for the breath of life and for health. Youth from Burkina Faso,
La jeunesse,
youth from Africa, youth, this phase of life where we have enough strength,
l'énergie,
enough energy, like the paraphrase, the slammer that has just passed.
la jeunesse,
Youth is the time when we have spent enough time.
nous devons profiter du temps qui nous est donné
We must take advantage of the time we have been given,
pour atteindre nos objectifs, pour changer
use the energy necessary to reach our goals,
changer le monde des autres positivement.
to change the world, to change our world, to change the world of others positively.
Les enfants souhaitent grandir pour être jeunes.
Children want to grow up to be young.
Tout le monde veut être jeune.
Older people want to grow up to be young.
Jeunesse,
Everyone wants to be young. Youth is a blessing.
alors profitez de la jeunesse pour faire œuvre utile.
So take advantage of youth to do useful work.
Pourquoi quand je vois dans le thème choisi,
This is why when I see in the chosen theme, the first two words that come to mind,
intégration,
integration,
sécurité.
security.
L'Afrique fait face à de nombreux défis
Africa faces many challenges,
et on doit se poser des questions.
and we must ask
La
ourselves
jeunesse est-elle
questions.
un atout ou un handicap pour le développement des nations?
Is youth an asset or a handicap for the development of nations?
Et vous la savez. Les pays
The
développés
answer is simple and unequivocal, and you know it.
pour la plupart,
Developed countries mostly have an aging population, and currently many countries have launched programs to rejuvenate their
sur leur
populations.
population. L'Afrique a cette chance d'avoir,
Africa has this chance to have a very young population,
mais pourquoi l'Afrique n'est-elle pas développée?
but why is Africa not developed?
Nous devrions donc nous pencher sur la question de comprendre pourquoi l'Afrique
We must therefore look at the question of why Africa has a young population and why it is not developed, and why developed countries seek to rejuvenate their populations.
Il faut que nous arrivions donc à transformer notre jeunesse en un véritable atout et un moteur.
We must transform our youth into a real asset and engine of development for our continent.
Pour ce faire, nous avons
To do this, we
besoin
need integration.
d'intégration. Nous avons besoin de sécurité.
We need security and development. We need to unite.
Certes, vous entendrez parler de
You
l'Union.
will hear about the African Union.
Oui, elle existe. Mais quelle
Yes, it exists, but what is the effect of the African Union?
Nous ne pourrons pas parler d'intégration dans le thème
We cannot talk about integration and not talk about the African Union,
cette organisation qui devrait nous unir.
because it is this organization that should unite us,
Mais nous sommes au
create
regret
real
de
integration.
voir Ces guerres qui persistent sur le continent africain.
But we regret to see this war that persists on the African continent, that kills millions of young people,
Et à la tête d'États pourvus d'armées.
and that this organization, which has the head of state provided with an army, cannot organize itself to support certain countries.
N'est pas juste un mot.
The union is not just a word, the union is a symbol.
Et nous jeunes devrions apprendre le
And we young people should learn from this situation
pour faire de l'intégration une réalité.
to unite us to make integration a reality.
Désagréablement surpris lorsque l'Éthiopie, qui abrite donc
I was unpleasantly surprised when Ethiopia, which is the seat of the African Union,
et quand j'ai vu le Premier ministre se mettre en treillis,
experienced a conflict, and when the Prime Minister announced to close the university in Addis Ababa to face the threat,
l'action de l'Union africaine.
I did not see the action of the African Union to protect this seat.
Occidentaux pour la plupart voyaient Addis
Western states, for the most part, saw Addis Ababa fall, fold their backpacks, and leave.
L'Éthiopie s'est battue, a trouvé une solution
Ethiopia
interne.
fought, found an internal solution, and lives more or less in peace today.
Les enfants du Congo meurent.
The children of Congo have been dying for years.
Plusieurs autres conflits, tels au Soudan.
Several other conflicts, such as in Sudan, exist on the continent.
Nous aurions aimé voir l'Union africaine générer
We would have liked to see the African Union generate the strength and all the strategies necessary to support its states so that they can find peace.
Nous ne viendrons même pas parler de nous ici au Sahel.
We will not even talk about us here in the Sahel.
Près de 10 ans,
For nearly 10 years, the Sahel has been the scene of international terrorism.
mais nous ne voyons aucun soutien.
But we see no support from these organizations to find a solution to this problem.
Pire, il y a quelques jours de cela, un pays
Worse, a few
étranger
days ago, a foreign country in Africa openly announced that it had supported and participated
soutenu et participé à une attaque lâche
in a cowardly, terrorist, and barbaric attack against the forces of our confederation.
L'Union africaine n'a pipé aucun mot pour condamner.
The African Union did not say a word to condemn this interference.
L'Union africaine n'a
The
pipé
African
aucun mot
Union did
pour
not say a
condamner
word to
cette
condemn this
ingérence
interference
extérieure à la
of a foreign state in Africa in the internal affairs of our states.
de nos États. Et ce coup de gueule, je souhaiterais
I would like them to hear this shout
qu'ils sortent donc de leur silence
and get out of their silence and take action so that the youth can believe in the African Union.
Il nous faut nous unir. Il nous faut nous unir. Et
We
la
must
seule manière de
unite.
s'unir,
The only way to unite is to talk to each other, to understand each other, and to be able to establish the basis of this unity.
unité là. Et jeunes, laissez-moi vous dire que pour s'unir,
Young people, let me tell you that to unite, there are three words, three big screws that we must ban from our behavior and our lives.
je parle de la lâcheté, la traîtrise,
I am talking about cowardice, treachery, and incompetence.
il faut bannir
We must ban these three words from our way of life.
de notre mode de vie.
I am going
Je
to
vais
explain
vous
why.
expliquer pourquoi. La lâcheté recouvre beaucoup de vices.
Cowardice covers many
Lâche
screws.
a toujours peur. Et lorsqu'on a peur,
A coward is always afraid. And when we are afraid, we become slaves. We bend. We lick our boots.
nos ancêtres n'ont
Our
pas été lâches.
ancestors were not cowardly.
Et si nous sommes lâches, nos enfants vont nous...
And if we are cowardly, our children will ask us
Imaginez qu'au
questions.
Burkina, nous refusions de nous battre et nous acceptons de nous...
Imagine that in Burkina Faso, we refuse to fight and we accept to submit, to live in
se
slavery.
poseront des questions. Nos parents ont-ils été des lâches pour nous laisser...
Tomorrow, our children will grow up and they will ask themselves questions. Have our parents been cowardly to leave us in slavery? Whether we are alive or dead, we will feel it.
Lâche a peur. Et les impérialistes ont compris, ils essaient de faire...
Cowardice is afraid, and the imperialists have understood that they are trying to scare the leaders so that they become cowards.
Tous les autres vices peuvent naître. On fait tout.
Because when you are a coward, all the other screws can be born. We do everything so that we are afraid. They come to our palaces. They threaten us directly or with veiled threats.
Bien sûr, nous répondons comme il le faut.
Of course, we respond as it is necessary. They try to make us understand. They take examples every time.
Ils prennent chaque fois des exemples. Ils nous diront, vous
They tell
savez,
us, you know,
Thomas Sankara a essayé de faire comme ça, mais il
Thomas Sankara tried to do this, but he is dead.
président haïtien, il a essayé de faire comme ça, il est où? Il est mort.
President Haitian tried to do this, but he is dead.
Comme ça, il est où? Il est mort. Voilà des propos qu'on nous tient de manière.
Gaddafi tried to do this, but he is dead. These are words that we take in a veiled way to scare us.
Nous voyons aussi souvent certains jeunes
And we often see some young people trying to take our path in a different way. We can hear them say, such and such person ruled like this, he is in his country.
a régné ainsi, il a la CPI. Telle personne a régné
Such and such person ruled like this, he is in prison.
pour qu'on devienne des lâches. Mais je pense qu'ils n'ont pas compris quelque chose.
All this to try to scare
Nous
us
disons
so
la
that we
patrie
become
ou la
cowards.
mort, nous vaincrons. Ce n'est pas qu'une phrase.
But I think they didn't understand one thing. When we say country or death, we
Ce n'est pas
win.
qu'une phrase. Ça a tout son sens.
It's not just a sentence. It's not just a sentence. It all makes sense. We are not afraid and we will never be afraid.
Ils ont fait peur, sûrement à beaucoup de chefs d'État africains.
They probably scared a lot of African heads of state. They probably scared a lot of African heads of state.
Lorsqu'on a l'occasion d'être dans certaines situations à l'extérieur,
You see, often when we express ourselves or when we have the opportunity to be in certain situations abroad,
prendre soin de notre jeunesse pour pouvoir amorcer notre
we often say something to call on African heads of state to wake up and take care of our youth so that we can start our real development. So that we can start our real development.
publiquement à nos propos.
We are often misunderstood. Some have publicly opposed us. Some have publicly opposed us because they feel indexed. But I can assure you, youth, that when we find ourselves in the corridors,
Ces mêmes chefs d'État nous disent, vous êtes sur la bonne voie, c'est ce qu'il faut faire pour que l'Afrique.
these same heads of state tell us that we are on the right track and that this is what needs to be done so that Africa can rise again.
Nous leur posons des questions à savoir pourquoi vous ne
So we ask them questions like, why don't you do like us? Why don't you support us?
Certains nous disent qu'ils ne peuvent pas. Chers aînés,
Some tell us that they have the means and some tell us that they can't.
Je souhaiterais dire que les peuples africains sont les peuples les plus pacifiques.
Dear elders, African heads of state, at the end of this podium, I would like to say that African peoples are the most peaceful. That African peoples are the most peaceful. When you recognize a wrong, you have to tell the people. When you recognize a wrong, you have to tell the people. We are not afraid to come out and tell the people we are sorry. We have been compromised. We have been mistreated. We have been compromised by several things, and we ask for forgiveness, and we come back on the right path and to start working really for the independence of our states and our emancipation.
Nous serons lâches.
And I think it is possible. If we remain in this posture of fear, we will be cowardly and history will judge us.
Nous sommes en train d'écrire l'histoire.
Our children will ask questions. Our grandchildren will ask
Si
questions.
nos ancêtres avaient été lâches, nous ne serions pas là.
We are writing history. There is no place for cowardice. If our ancestors had been cowardly, we would not be here. Do you remember? I will give you an example of the people of Bamileke and Bassa. I want to talk about the Cameroonians, the union of the population of Cameroon, which since the 1950s has started a relentless fight against the Poles, but they have been massacred. The French colonial armies, in turn, have dispatched infantry battalions, tanks, helicopters, have annihilated anti-village. The most inhuman tortures have taken place during this period. You can do research on what they call the cart or the Bakasima.
Des centaines de milliers de populations ont été
Hundreds of thousands of people have been decimated in Africa
osé demander aux colons de quitter leur terre.
because they dared to ask their settlers to leave their land.
Il y a une guerre civile qui a duré plusieurs années.
A civil war that lasted several years.
Des gens ont osé, ont affronté à main nue.
That is to say that people dared to face the imperialists with their bare hands so that we could be here.
Que nous ne puissions pas affronter les impérialistes
There is no reason why we cannot face the imperialists so that our future generations can live.
Il y a beaucoup d'exemples à travers l'Afrique.
There are many examples throughout Africa of brave men who refused to be cowardly, who fought, who faced.
Soyons dignes de ces gens. Nous sommes leurs descendants.
Well, let us be worthy of these people. We are their descendants, and let us be worthy of them.
Ne soyons pas lâches.
A coward cannot be worthy.
Parce qu'un lâche,
Let us not be cowards, young Africans, because a coward is always a traitor. And it goes hand in hand. They will try to frighten us so that we become cowards. And if we are cowards, we will betray. We must ban the treachery of our habits. Africans have been traitors so that the slave trade succeeds in Africa. It is because Africans have been traitors that colonization has been able to sustain in Africa. Let us question history. We will see. Lumumba, Patrice Lumumba, was betrayed because he dared to hold his head. And these same beautiful televisions came to the Congo for a few bids extended to individuals in the Congo for an interview to please their population. And you were able to follow that. Lumumba bothered us. He is dead. We are happy. It is treachery. Many other heroes have fallen so that we are here today. And it is a technique of imperialism to frighten others by taking action to really create terror. It has not started today. I will give you the example of a warrior who fought, Victor Biakaboda.
Lisez, vous comprendrez. Il est issu d'une famille de chefs.
Read it and you will understand. He came from a family of chiefs. No chiefdom given by the colonizer. He was a worthy child. He studied in Senegal, I believe. He became a doctor in Guinea. And when the RDA was created, he went to the Ivory Coast region to fight against imperialists, against invaders, against the colonizer. He tried to organize the Ivorian society. Everywhere, people began to speak up. There was a general in his time, Pichu, who massacred the Ivorian population so that this spirit of freedom could never germinate. He continued his fight alongside Fewrci Lix Ufeboigny. They fought. But the most violent was Victor Biakaboda. He represented a threat to the imperialists. What did he do? In addition to massacring the people who demonstrated, one night they killed him in an atrocious way next to Bois-Flancy. A few hours later, when the people of Dimbakro heard the murder, they marched, they demonstrated. They were massacred by the colonial army. History was killed. The facts are there. After his death, which scared FOC Lix Ufeboigny, they called him and told him, if you continue the fight, you will meet the same fate. He was afraid and he joined imperialism. He was appointed minister in France and later he came to take the reins of the Ivorian Accord. They used him to eliminate many other people who dared to raise their voices. I think Thomas Sankara is a good example. If you are afraid, you will be cowardly and you will be a traitor. Never be afraid. The fight must continue. There are many other examples around the world. And there is this phenomenon that they have also used for a long time and that they continue to use. You see, some individuals, for example, have found themselves in other countries and created a so-called parallel government to the Malian government.
Je vais vous prendre l'exemple.
You have heard this story. It is a technique that has existed for a long time.
Ce professeur de mathématiques qui a
I will give you the example of Ahmed Chalabi,
a été recruté
Iraq. This math teacher, who was even in the Iraqi government, was recaptured by the imperialists, and he formed this semblance of parallel government in Iraq, in the United States.
pour être donc le mouton de sacrifice. Parce que c'est à lui
And he was used to be the sheep of
prononcer
sacrifice,
publiquement que Saddam Hussein développait des armes de destruction massive.
because it was to him that it was said that Saddam Hussein was developing weapons of mass destruction,
Et cet alibi
and
a
he
été
did it.
utilisé pour tuer des millions d'enfants en Irak et détruire l'Irak.
They used him. And this Talibi was used to kill millions of children in Iraq
Un soir,
and destroy Iraq.
après une interview, dans l'interview, il disait même que il sait que la
And do you know what was the fate of Chalabi?
quelques heures après, il a été retrouvé mort dans son lit, mort de...
One evening after an interview, he said that he knew that the CIA was on his back.
Si vous trahissez, vous aurez des fins macabres.
A few hours later, he was found dead in his bed, dead of a heart attack. If you betray, you will have macabre endings. That's how it is. Imperialism has no friends. Imperialism uses you.
Et quand il finit de vous utiliser, il fait
And when
de
it
vous
finishes
utiliser.
using you, it does what it wants with you.
Vous comprenez
Follow my gaze.
de quoi
You
je
understand what I'm talking about. It has always been like this.
parle. Le troisième vice,
The third vice that I invite you to leave is incompetence.
c'est l'incompétence. Ah, je reviens encore au mot du slameur qui a marché sur
Ah, I'm coming back to the word of the Islamist who walked on my tongue. Incompetence.
L'incompétence est un phénomène très dangereux.
You understand what I'm talking about. Incompetence is a very dangerous phenomenon that they use to destroy African society.
Reconnaissons-le. Les incompétents ont beaucoup
In our administrations, there is a lot of incompetence. Let's recognize it. Incompetents have a lot of space next to imperialism,
Les incompétents peuvent
because
vous amener
incompetence can take over the development of a country. Incompetence can lead you to doubt yourself.
Les incompétents aiment tout pour eux seuls.
Incompetents love ease. Incompetents love everything for themselves. Incompetents don't like those who are competent.
Ceux qui cherchent. Les incompétents
They don't like those who innovate,
sont
those who
dangereux.
seek. Incompetents are
Lorsque
dangerous.
vous êtes éclairé, l'incompétent ne vous aime pas.
When you are enlightened, incompetents don't like
L'incompétent ne
you.
vous aime pas.
When you want to innovate, incompetents don't like you.
L'incompétent sait reconnaître celui qui est compétent et il va le
Incompetents only recognize those who are competent,
Il a peur de
and they will fight him until his last breath,
chercher
because
la
he is afraid of
connaissance.
those who are competent. Seek knowledge. Seek knowledge and work. Work hard to be competent. Ban incompetence.
Parce que à travers les distractions
Because through distractions that we want to make us adopt,
adoptées, on devient incompétent.
we become incompetent.
Les réseaux sociaux sont les
I'll give you an example. Social networks are the places where information is published today.
s'informent à travers Internet et beaucoup de choses. Un jeune qui
People are informed through the internet.
les réseaux sociaux un article sur sa ferme
A young man who publishes an article on his farm or an agricultural project or a scientific project may not have 1,000 views.
il n'aura pas peut-être 1000 vues.
But a young man who publishes on futility has millions of views.
Ce que moi j'appelle du n'importe quoi.
As the young slammer said, we want to waste your time on futility.
Justement, comme disait
Be
le
aware.
slameur,
Let's
on peut
focus
faire
on
perdre
work
du temps
and
dans
seek
la
knowledge.
futilité.
Let's seek
Prenez
competence.
conscience. Intéressons-nous au travail.
It's good to be
Cherchons la
distracted,
connaissance.
but we must work first before being distracted. Seek knowledge, otherwise you'll waste your time doing nothing.
Avant de se distraire. Cherchez la connaissance, sinon vous perdrez du temps à ne rien faire. Et la jeunesse,
Youth is the time when you must use your time wisely.
il faut exploiter son temps à bon escient. Les impérialistes le savent.
The imperialists know this.
Ils vont multiplier tout ce qui est événement de distraction. Ils vont multiplier tout ce qui est
That's why they multiply all events of distraction.
travail pour que vous soyez des incompétents.
They multiply all events that can distract you from work so that you become incompetent. When you fall asleep, you choose the incompetent to lead the important structures. You have no choice but to fold. Let's not be incompetent. Let's seek knowledge.
Les incompétents se cachent souvent derrière des mots.
Incompetents often hide behind words. They use the terms democracy and freedom without realizing what they mean.
Camarades, la démocratie est un état
Democracy is a state of mind as much as youth is a state of mind.
Ces soi-disant démocrates,
Whether you're a Democrat or not,
comment est-ce qu'on peut
how can you impose democracy by killing millions of people?
C'est de la dictature, ça, ce n'est pas de la démocratie. Ça ne
It's a
s'impose pas.
dictatorship, not democracy. You can't impose it.
Ceux-là qui se disent démocrates, mais regardez, nous avons
Those who
vu
call
des
themselves
scènes
Democrats have seen scenes where people were prevented from joining
On a vu des
assemblies.
scènes où des forces ont débarqué dans des assemblées pour obliger.
We've seen scenes where forces landed in assemblies to force deputies to take texts.
Plus terrible que ça.
We've seen more terrible scenes where people kill their demonstrators. But they call themselves Democrats, and we're called Perseus.
Si c'est ça la démocratie, je répète.
If that's
nous ne voulons pas de cette
democracy, I
démocratie.
repeat, we don't want this democracy.
Et quand vous voyez souvent les incompétents,
And when you see
ils ne
incompetence,
cherchent pas à savoir quelle est la signification.
they don't seek to know what the real meaning of the word democracy is.
À la définition qu'il lui a donnée l'impérialisme, et il se met.
They cling to the definition given to them by imperialism and start talking about democracy without really knowing the basics. That's incompetence.
Regardez le monde pour redéfinir la démocratie.
You have to know, look at the world to redefine democracy as we want it in Africa.
Les incompétents se cachent derrière les libertés.
Incompetence hides behind freedom. Remember, there is no individual freedom. It's a fact.
C'est un fait.
Do you really think everyone is free? Freedom is collective. As long as we live in a society with rules, freedom is collective.
Avec des règles, la liberté est collective. Parce que si vous ne respectez pas les règles,
Because if you don't respect the rules, you can't live in society.
si vous êtes libre de parler comme
If you're free to speak as you please, the other is free to answer as he pleases. That would be disorder.
ça sera du désordre. Si vous êtes libre de
If you're
rouler dans la
free to
rue et
walk
de
the
passer
streets
le
and
feu
pass
rouge,
traffic lights as you
l'autre est
please,
libre de passer aussi et de vous cogner.
the other is free to pass by and
Vous
hit you.
comprenez que si
You understand that if individual freedom takes over, we are in a society of disorder.
voilà pourquoi il y a des règles dans la société.
That's why there are rules in society,
Et là, on parle de liberté collective.
and everyone has to
Donc,
respect the rules.
certains se donnent le droit de parler de leur liberté individuelle.
That's why we're talking about collective freedom. Some people have the right to speak about their individual freedom, but they don't care about others. I think that's also part of incompetence,
Ils s'arrogent les droits que peut-être les États les ont donnés.
because they don't try to understand. They make up the rights given by the states to serve and do everything for themselves, neglecting the freedom of others.
On pense à la liberté d'autrui.
No, freedom is collective. Before we act, we think about the freedom of others, and we shouldn't transcend the freedom of others. So we need to have a reserve. And once we have a reserve, individual freedom doesn't exist. Freedom is collective, and we need to have this culture of collective freedom.
Cherchons donc la connaissance, lisons.
So let's seek knowledge, let's read, let's interrogate history. Don't read the history they wrote in their favor.
Cherchez la connaissance à travers plusieurs sources et vous comprendrez.
Seek knowledge through several sources, and you will understand in history who fought for Africa, how we must fight to continue this struggle of our ancestors.
Et je ne terminerai pas mes propos sans faire.
And I won't finish my words without making a statement about communication.
Parce que comme je le dis, c'est l'arme fatale de l'impérialisme. Et vous jeunes,
Because as I said, it's the fatal weapon of
pour
imperialism.
savoir distinguer le vrai du faux.
And you young people, you must do everything to distinguish the true from the false. We will continue to dismantle the lies of imperialist media that always try to create problems in Africa.
Par leur bouche, ils peuvent vous rendre un roi demain.
Because these media, through their mouths, can make you a king tomorrow. Through their mouths, they can make you leave your position as king and make you a poor slave tomorrow. Pay attention.
Je suivais une émission, malheureusement, il n'y a pas longtemps, burkinabé, où un jeune
I was following a program, unfortunately not long ago, in Burkina Faso, where a young journalist released a sentence that left me a little perplexed.
Il meurt de faim en Corée du Nord. A-t-il pris le soin d'aller en Corée du Nord enquêter pour voir vraiment s'il meurt de faim?
He was talking about North Korea, and the journalist said, but he is starving in North Korea. Has he taken care of going to North Korea to investigate to see if he is really starving? Since imperialist media have sold North Korea is more developed than many European countries. And because these media tell us that North Korea is a dictatorship, people are starving, they are poor, they have nothing, we take it here. But North Korea is a nuclear power. How did they do it? Let's pay attention to communication. We must not blindly follow these lying media that only try to divide Africa. It is logical. They fight for the interests of their people. And the interest of their people is that Africa is divided. So, young people of Burkina Faso, young people of Africa, we must unite. We must ban cowardice. We must ban incompetence. We must ban treachery and all the risks in our society. We have the opportunity to speak. We thank God for these opportunities that we have each time to speak, to raise awareness. And I invite you to spread the word, to get to work so that the Africa that we want, self-sufficient in terms of food, is a reality. So that the Africa that we want for harmonious development is a reality. Let me finish because I return to your theme. There is no peace and security without development. The two go hand in hand. If there is no development, there is no security. Because if there is no development, the youth will inevitably find themselves in the vice and there will be no security. If there is no security, there is no development. So the two must go hand in hand. Let's integrate this in our fights so that we can fight and develop. Let's go towards production. Let's produce enough. Let's transform our raw materials so that they are beneficial for our populations and in terms of exportation. I wish you a very good day of reflection on the chosen theme and also on the essential role of youth in this fight. Good luck to all. May God make sure that all those who have made the trip return home in good health and that we can meet again when we wish it by the grace of God. La Pat.
Welcome to Tessie Reaction channel. Kindly, if you come across this first video, make sure you subscribe, like, share and comment. So in today's video is about President Ibrahim Traore sending a warning message to PM of Jamaica. And let me hope that you have really watched that full speech with a lot of boldness, because as all know that Ibrahim Traore is a fearless president. He is a very intelligent one, and he can't be intimidated by any other leaders. He is the leader of Africa. He is the Pan-Africanism. He is now the one who's now trending across all over the world because of his fearless and also stand with people of Burkina Faso. As all know that Burkina Faso now is the growing country right now in the world in terms of development, in terms of education. When you visit Burkina Faso now, education is free and also health system is really working. You find that now in Burkina Faso, when students started at school, all touch from primary, tertiary up to university, now education is free in Burkina Faso. And there's no any other country that is providing education is for free. Even in Europe, in UK, nobody is providing education free, but Burkina Faso education is now free. He has also made a Burkina Faso a country that benefit itself. The first thing when Ibrahim Traore took from power, first thing he chased away this military from France. So France military were manning the Burkina Faso. They were chased away by Ibrahim Traore because of his stand that he don't want any colonialism in his country. Sorry. So the Ibrahim Traore is fighting for imperialism. He don't want imperialism. He wants a country that can be have its own right. It has own democracy. We want a full democracy in Burkina Faso. That's why he just away France. Then another thing, he suspended a channel called Signet France TV. This channel was used to broadcast the propaganda against the government of Ibrahim Traore. So he chased away this channel and suspended in his country. And although that this channel is all over across the Africa and also the Caribbean, all over Caribbean and Jamaica, all this channel is available there. So he chased away this channel, suspended it completely. This has made him to be the president of Africa, and this has made me to be loved by all black people except these white people who have now starting fighting him. So he was sending a message to Prime Minister of Jamaica that we Caribbean, we Jamaica, we can unite it with Africa. As we all know that now Ibrahim Traore is speaking for Africa, not only Burkina Faso, but he's speaking for Africa. So he was telling the PM that we can unite it, we can build our own country using our own currency. We can unite, we can do business. Let's scrap this imperialism. But the best thing, the difference now is that even Jamaica and this Caribbean is now against imperialism. They want to chase away imperialism. That's why it has now come in attention that all African countries now they want to unite it, and this unity has been caused by Ibrahim Traore. We saw what happened last time. All people, black color, gathered in solidarity to him. They defended Ibrahim Traore, and that is the unity that now we want in Africa, because we have been used by this West country for so long. So he was telling this Prime Minister of PM of Jamaica to be aware that let's unite it, let's build our own country, let's build our own continent. We will not rely on this West country, because you guys, you have been used us for so long. So it's high time that we united and we chase away these Western countries, because they have been using us for so long. So he was telling them that it's time to wake up, guys. There's no any time, and this thing is reality, because what happened really in Burkina Faso is not all about coup, but it was a revolution, and a revolution has started in Burkina Faso here, and it started with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and now I'm listening that it has now reached the Ivory Coast. So this thing can work, and we don't depend on these people, because these people are using our resources to benefit themselves. Because he was telling Prime Minister that our resources must remain in our country and benefit our people. Because now when you visit Burkina Faso, there is no any resources that taken outside Burkina Faso. The resources belongs to people of Burkina Faso, and that resources the one that is generating a lot of revenue to its people. It's the one that's now building the school. It's the one that's now developing the country of Burkina Faso. It's the one now, it has made the education to be free. All roads now, business now growing in Burkina Faso. Each and now every investor is now want to work with Burkina Faso. So these things has made a very tough life to this Western country. Now they have started a plot against him. They want to arrest him. They want to eliminate him. But now we Africa, we must now stand with Ibrahim Traore because it's our leader. Guys, let's stand with our own brother. Don't let our brother go down. Caribbean, Jamaica, wake up. It's just a waking call from we Africa. We are showing you that this can now happen. Kindly, thank you so much for watching my video. Kindly, if you are watching this video for the first time, make sure you subscribe, like, share and comment. Let's make this video viral to send a warning to these Western countries that we are Caribbean are now united. We want to build our own airport from direct ticket from here Africa to Caribbean. Thank you so much and may Allah bless you. Bye for now.